Good evening. I'm Herb Scannell, President of BBC Worldwide America. Welcome to Harvard Business School's Women's Association of New York, and thank you for joining us tonight. I can tell you that those of us that didn't go to HBS feel a lot smarter just being here. I actually went to school in Boston, but I visited Harvard and I went to Boston College. So I'm a visitor amongst you all, but I'm very happy to host you all tonight. I'm privileged to stand up here and pay tribute to Ann Sarnoff, my friend, colleague, and trusted advisor for over 20 years. And I can't think of a more deserving honoree. You know, when I first joined BBC Worldwide America a couple of years ago, 2 years to be exact, I had lunch with Ann, and I didn't know at the time whether I'd be able to recruit her. She suggested that she might be available, and I explained that BBC is a little funky. And not funky like James Brown, funky. And she said the magic word. She said, "Herb, I do funky well." And she'll never forget that because I remind her all the time, every day. And meaning, what that means really is I can roll the punches, I can work through the gray, I can solve problems, and I get results. And that is what she does every day. And Ann is poised under pressure. Or she's well medicated. But aren't we all? I mean, call spade a spade, aren't we all? But seriously, the comment before is she is unflappable. I mean, there really isn't anything you can throw at Ann that she doesn't just handle. And I'm reminded, I'm a baseball fan, I'm a Met fan, one of the few probably in New York, but I still hold it out there. And one of my favorite players was Gary Carter, who was a power-hitting catcher, much like Ann Sarnoff. And I'm a guy too, so I have to throw a baseball analogy in someplace, right? And Gary Carter would both hit home runs, and then when the pitchers were getting wild, he would just walk to the dugout, put the ball in their hand, and just calm them down. And that's Ann. She always handles everything so professionally. She has a calming confidence and does it all with grace and professionalism. She's a team player, and you'll always find her in the winning team. She knows and hires good people. There's no better honor than being hired by Ann Sarnoff, and there are many people here. Who are the people that have been hired by Ann Sarnoff here? And Patty's saying, what about me? Yeah, you can take credit too. Okay. Hired by Ann Sarnoff, she vets well, she asks the right questions, and really, who wouldn't want to work for her? It's like the good housekeeping seal of media to be hired by Ann. By the way, the good news is this is bold type, so I can read it on my glasses. Ann's also a natural problem solver and an extremely talented business builder. She saved my ass once when we worked together at Nickelodeon, and hopefully she doesn't have to do it again. But she's there, and I know that she's always going to be there for me and for the company. The brief version of the story is that she built the licensing business from the ground up at Nickelodeon. She learned the business from scratch. She bet that her plan for Blue's Clues, which was a little show at the time that was buzzing but not necessarily a clear hit in any way, would over time trump the tsunami that was known as Teletubbies. If you remember that moment in time, Teletubbies was everywhere and Blue's Clues was nowhere. And she did. It did trump Teletubbies. By the way, as bosses are, she warded off my urgings to change her plan and persuaded me to stay the course on Blue's Clues. And the result was, under her leadership, the business went from $140 million in retail sales to $2 billion in just 4 years. Teletubbies flamed out. Flamed out in a year and a half, and Blue's Clues had a run for probably 6 to 8 years. By the way, we now own Teletubbies, so I hope you get that going. So Ann's leadership in that area really was, you know, representative of what Ann is. She's a business builder. She figures things out. And it got the Nickelodeon Big Orange Steamroller original production and licensing moving. And, oh yeah, it got Sumner Redstone off my back, which you don't want Sumner Redstone to be back at all, right? And Viacom, it got them to start to listen to what we wanted to do. And when they saw what Ann had done with the business, they backed us with a $350 million investment in animation that drove licensing and television production, and the rest is history. So the moral of the story is that when Ann Sarnoff tells me to put money down, I listen. And only Ann and my daughters are capable of that kind of Plus, Anne knows all the Polish holidays. She always knows them, and she'll explain them to us. If you ever want to know Halston 7th Street parking with Polish holidays, she'll know that. She looks sexy in a cowboy hat, as we're reminded by the president of BBC's Worldwide Operations, John Smith, in the UK, when he saw Anne at our Halloween party. Who's that? And he said, Anne Turner. Oh, she looks good in a cowboy hat. She looks good all the time, by the way. She's also a closeted country music fan, though no secret to many of us, because when she had a time at VH1 CMT, she wore her country stripes proud, and is genuinely one of the kindest and smartest people I know. And if you don't believe me, and this is the great part of being able to do the introduction, we surveyed her previous bosses, some really, really special people, and her family, who are really the special people in her life. And we get to see what they had to say about her, and I get to introduce the video. So let's go to the video.